Well, finally, this is going to work. Good afternoon, lovely ladies and gentlemen. Steve Collins coming to you from gorgeous, hot San Antonio, Texas, the second most powerful, passionate, and purposeful coach and speaker in the world. I want to challenge something today. You know, a lot of people are confused when it comes to the idea of coaching and exactly what that is and how that works, thinking, you know, imagery from athletic coaches is about yelling at people, hollering at people, and making people do things that they don't want to do. And that couldn't be further from the truth, at least at Voice of One Coaching. Our goal is helping someone to see something different, because when you see something different, you show up different. You're motivated yourself rather than someone having to push you. Let me give you an example. If there was, say, a man or woman who said, well, I know there's benefits to exercise and eating right. I know there are. I get it, but I just don't really feel like exercising, and I really like tacos. And, you know, I get it and I understand. Maybe one day I'll have the self-discipline that you have, and I'll get into that. Well, that's what we deal with most of the time in the world. But check this out. Imagine if that person went to the doctor and the doctor said, dude, if you don't start eating right and exercising, we're going to have to amputate your legs because you have diabetes, but you can fix it. That guy's probably not going to say, well, I really don't like exercising and I like tacos. That person's probably going to say, damn, I like my legs a whole lot more than I like tacos and not exercising. I'm going to exercise. What changed? What changed is their thinking. You understand? What changed is the thinking. That's the only thing that changed, the thinking. I used to think about exercise and diet one way. I think about it differently now that new information has been introduced to me that has caused me to place a very high value on it. So the mindset is everything when it comes to motivation. So most of us were raised to think or believe. We all hear this. If you want great things in life, you got to work hard. You got to work hard. You got to work hard. I've even seen ridiculous images and memes on Facebook that show like a pair of work boots and gloves and sweaty clothes that say you're great if you have a daddy who works hard, or something along those lines, or hard work is where it's at. So we have this image, if you will, of hard work being this blood, sweat, tears, physical labor, physical hard work. That's how we tend to think about hard work. When we think about working hard, we think about exhausting oneself physically, if you will, in labor, physical labor, if you will. But I want to pose a challenge to you. There's an entirely different way to look at this, and the way that I have discovered and would challenge is much more difficult than physical labor, and that is the hard work of working on yourself. Let me say that again. It's the hard work of working on yourself. I can dig a ditch in 100-degree weather for 8 hours a day, every day, and that is hard physically. But you see, I don't have to change. I don't have to change what I think or what I feel or what I believe, how I interact with my wife, with my kids, with my family members, with myself. I don't have to change anything. I just have to labor. But you see, when a man or woman begins to make a commitment to their own personal growth and personal development, and they begin challenging ways that they thought or believed for years, if you will, then that, my friend, is really hard work. You've heard people say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's a cop-out. You can teach an old dog new tricks. Most old dogs are just not motivated to change the tricks that they currently have, because they have a story they tell themselves about that current trick. Does this make sense? So hard work doesn't look necessarily like what you think it looks like or what you may believe that it is. You may see, let me give you another example. Let's say you pull up to a Circle K at the end of the day and a truck pulls up and 5 guys get out soaked from head to toe, absolutely just crushed, destroyed. They've got, dirt all over them and they are just wiped out, and you would think, wow, those guys are hard workers. Then maybe somebody pulls up, I don't know, in a Lamborghini, in a suit, and people might judge, who knows what his deal is. But you don't know. What if that guy got up at 4 a.m. and went to work out? What if that guy spent 2 hours in the morning praying and meditating? What if that guy got up in the morning and journaled for 45 minutes? What if that guy went to therapy and got to work on the things that were helping him to become a person who can serve more people, who can serve better, who can help better, who can listen better, and did the hard work of changing the way that they were thinking for the majority of their lives so that they could change their behavior? Hard work is not just labor that is physical. Hard work, I've found the hardest work is the work of working on yourself and changing those things about you that are not serving you well. Take the advice of Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn, one of the foremost business philosophers in America, said this: work harder on yourself than you ever work on your job. Let me say that again so you can sink in. He said, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Now, this is not to say that physical labor is not hard work. I just want to introduce to you the concept and the idea and the revelation that the hardest work you will find is the work of working on yourself, working on your thinking, working on your perceptions, working on your communication, working on your ability to work with and serve difficult people, working on changing you. So, hard work isn't what everybody thinks it is or what they've been raised to believe it is. Only the hardest work that I have ever seen men and women go through is the work of working on themselves. Where did this come from? I was coaching a client this last week, and the conversation was just like, I always thought I had to work hard to achieve the results that I've been getting, Coach Steve. But in coaching with you, I'm doing like half of that and doubling my income. I thought it was always hard work, but it really wasn't. And I said, actually, it was. You've just associated the hard work with the blood, sweat, and tear and labor. You didn't associate the fact that you're living the life you're living right now because you put the hard work into changing yourself. You see, you're putting in the hard work and you're doing the hard work. It's just not showing up as calluses and sweat. It's showing up in the labor of changing the way that you think, which is the hardest work of all. Changing the way that you think and changing the way that you show up in the world. So it's not necessarily what you think it is. And if you really want to know what hard work is like, get to work on changing you, improving you, and becoming all that God created you to be. That, my friends, that's the hard work. Have a great weekend.